Oi, don't blink, cause today's headlines are madder than a pint in the Gallowgate after a derby win. Celtic and Rangers. Sharing a stadium? Aye, you heard that right. We've got a 5,000-seater hub on the table that could leave Hampton in the dust. Then there's a £3.5 million transfer twist, and Brendan Rodgers isn't hiding. He wants a long-term future sorted in the East End. Alistair Johnston's had his say too, and trust me, he's not pulling any punches. But the biggest story? It's at the end, and it's a proper belter. Celtic and Rangers going head-to-head again. This time for a Crystal Palace wonderkid that Europe's already sniffing around. So stay with me right till the last whistle. Give that like button a wee tap, and if you bleed green and white, make sure you're subscribed. Let's get stuck in. Right, grab a pint and sit down, because this one's gonna raise some eyebrows. So get this, talks are happening, actual talks about Celtic and the Rangers, sharing the same ground. I know, sounds like the setup to a bad joke down the Gallowgate, but it's real. Alongside Glasgow City, they're apparently looking into a shiny new shared stadium built just for the women's sides, capacity between 3,000 to 5,000 people, and potentially part of the 2035 Women's World Cup setup. Now, I'll tell you straight, it's being branded as a hub venue, like it's some kind of coffee shop where bitter rivals just sip lattes and ignore a century of history. And it's meant to fix the issue of stadiums being either too small or too empty, like Hampton, which, let's face it, hasn't exactly been bouncing for women's games. The logistics? Mental. Imagine trying to schedule Celtic and Rangers women at the same place in the same weekend. It's like inviting fire and petrol to a dinner party. They're talking Friday night football to make it work. Sounds grand in theory, until the calendar's got more clashes than Alfredo Morelos in a derby. And here's the twist. Gillies, the one pushing the idea, is ex-SFA and now running the women's game at Ibrox. So you know he's got an angle. He even admitted Hampton's not working, no surprise there, and wants a proper stadium, grass pitch, crowd-friendly, all that. And he thinks folk won't mind seeing Celtic and Rangers share it like flatmates? Mate. So I'm asking you sitting there in your Celtic top, would you accept our women's team calling the same pitch home as the Rangers? Even if it's just the women's sides, does that sit right with you? Drop your thoughts below and keep it civil. Well, Celtic level civil. Right then, let's get into this. And stick with me till the end, because this one's got a twist you'll want to hear. So, Luis Palma. Remember him? The lad who came in with big noise, big hopes, and enough pace to toast defenders at Parkhead on a cold Wednesday night. Well, he's been on loan at Olympiacos, where, fair play, he helped them bag another league title. But it seems the Greek party's coming to a close. Word out of Honduras is Olympiacos won't be shelling out the £3 million it would take to make his stay permanent. 1 goal and 1 assist in 10 appearances. Not exactly numbers that scream, take my money. Now here's where it gets juicy. Dynamo Kiev, of all clubs, are sniffing around and might just match the fee. So the lad's not without options, but let's be honest. From paradise to Piraeus and now possibly to a Ukrainian rebuild, that's one hell of a European tour without any chart-topping hits. But here's the thing I've got to ask you. If Luis Palma's already surplus, and we're about to bank a cheeky $3 million, would you cash in and reinvest in someone who actually fits Rodgers' system? Or would you give him one more preseason in the hoops and hope the old spark lights again? Let me know below. I know you've got opinions on this one. Don't hold back. Right, here's one for you. Straight from the heart of Parkhead and no messing about. Alistair Johnston's just come out and said what every proper Celtic soul's been thinking. Please don't go, Brendan. I mean, the lad couldn't have been more honest if he'd been standing in front of the Green Brigade with a megaphone. He's not just saying Rodgers is a good manager, he's saying the man's unlocked him as a player. Took him from being a solid inverted fullback under Ange to a full-on, touchline-charging, overlapping defensive nightmare for opponents. That's not a small claim, mate. That's a player admitting he's grown legs under the new regime. And you know what? It tracks. Johnston's been flying. No question about it. He's got one more year left on the contract, our Brendan. One more year of knowing we've got the best manager in the league, hands down. And Johnston says it clear. We're buzzing for it. But here's the twist. Should the board be doing more right now to tie Rodgers down longer? Should they be rolling out the green carpet and saying, stay here, build your legacy, and make us kings of Europe too? Because if the board don't, and we blink, you and I both know there's clubs down south who'd happily throw to millions of pounds a year at him just for a cup run. So I'll put it to you like this. If you were in Nicholson's chair right now, would you offer Rodgers a brand new contract today, before the league's even wrapped, or would you wait and risk him walking next summer? Think about it. Let me know. And don't just say I, back it up. Right. Here's one for ye that's hotter than a chippy curry sauce after midnight in Govan. Word on the wind says Brendan's sniffing around one of England's brightest young sparks, Jesse Derry, lad from Crystal Palace's academy, just 17, and already turning heads like a last-minute screamer at Paradise. And guess what? The Rangers are in the mix too, bless their desperate little hearts. Now Jesse's said nah to a pro contract at Selhurst Park. Bold move, right? That means he's up for grabs this summer for a wee compensation fee. And it's no just the old firm who've clocked it. We're talking Bayern Munich, PSG, Juventus, and Atletico Madrid. You know, that lot who don't exactly do scouting runs through Coatbridge on the weekend. So the question is, if Jesse's got the choice between Celtic Park and Ibrox, where would you go? One club's got Champions League nights, a history of turning youngsters into legends, and a fan base louder than a storm on the Clyde. And the other, well, they just remembered how to spell Europe again. But here's the kicker. Should we really be chasing another raw winger when we've already got young talent fighting for minutes? Or is this the kind of signing that shows we're serious about building the next generation now? Go on. If you were Jesse Derry's would you tell the boy to sign for the Bhoys? Or hold out for the big glamour move abroad? Drop it in the comments. Let's see who's thinking with their heart and who's thinking like Nicholson.